So again, what are you doing right now? You had for homework the top 4 in each chart. Now I'm asking you to do one more on your own. So 2,100 kilometers on the top chart and 10 minutes and 20 seconds in that middle chart. We're gonna need scrap paper for what we're doing next, so I'm delivering. Oh, you already got it. All right, just try it. It's small. Okay. We are. Table. So this goes to 2,100, so these are actually 2,000. Okay, John. Yep. Yeah, put it in this box and that one too. Yep. Then just go up till you hit each line. Should just started doing my Christmas shopping. It's how Christmas works. Yep. Okay, again, everybody go ahead. Are we done? Do we need more time? What's up? We're good. Oh my gosh, I am going to. Wait, my neck. I'm done. I'll give everybody just a minute to finish up or so. All right, so a couple things as a refresher course before we get too far. So we are using page 11 of our reference table. If you remember at the bottom, that 1 is not for 1 kilometer, it's for 1,000 kilometers. The 2 is 2,000. The important thing that we did label, so those of you who weren't here on Friday when we did this, we did label one set of these little boxes to remember that they go up by 200. So 200, 400, 600, 800, then 1,000 is labeled. Same with the y-axis. This is now it is plain and simple, just 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, up to 24 minutes. But the little lines we did label a set of those. So remember there's 60 seconds in a minute. So we had 20, 40, 60, which is 1 minute is already labeled. So to do the one you had to do today, we had 2,100 kilometers. How long does it take the P and S waves to travel that? So you did have to go to 2,100. It is important to estimate that. So here's 2,000. 1 line over is 2,200. So we had to go halfway between those for 2,100. Go up till you hit the S wave or the P wave first. And it looks to me like it's between the 4 minutes and the 4 minutes, 20 seconds. What should we estimate that to? Because it's not on the 4 minute line. It's not on the 4 minute, 20 second. 15 would work. Or I went with 4 minutes and 10, but 15 is fine. They will give you 10 to 15, maybe 20 seconds difference, but I highly doubt that you can go all the way up to 20 seconds difference. I absolutely did put that in the wrong box. Sorry. We were doing this one, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Then you have to redo the whole thing for the S wave. So still go to 2,100. Go up till you hit the S wave line. And where do you want to put this one? 7 minutes, 30 seconds, or 7 minutes, depending on exactly where you estimated. It does look like 7:40 would have worked as well. I did have 7:30. So it's, again, the wiggle room is allowed. 10 seconds less or 10 seconds higher, up to probably 15, 20 would be pushing it. Now the next box is asking you to go the other way. So we had 10 minutes and 20 seconds. So you find 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Now some people were finding that having a straight edge, so I did hand you out the little scrap paper. Having a straight edge does help so that your finger doesn't wander or that you're not just trusting your eyeballs. So if you went to 10:20, and you're welcome to use the straight edge, to be perfectly honest, it distracts me, but you do you. So go to 10:20, go over till you hit the P line. And to me, it looks like it hits the line right here, not quite at the 7,000 line. What did you estimate that to be? 6,900. I did as well, so 6,900. If you had put 7,000, they would give you credit. If you put 6,800, they would give you credit. But one thing I want to warn you, just like I said, if you don't understand today, you're not going to understand tomorrow. The same deal is if you're off by a little bit here, it's going to build and make your final answer for what we're going to do like tomorrow or Thursday. It's going to make your final answer really far off. And you'll see when we get there what I mean. But just try to be as accurate as possible. And then finally, so 10 minutes, 20 seconds for the S wave. Looks to me like 3,100.
That's what I put.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now I believe I checked everybody's rest of your answers, but just in case I didn't, here is the answers that I had for the rest of them. So I am pretty sure I checked everybody's work on that yesterday, though.
Oh, you mean right?
Yes, right.
Do you always have to put the 0?
You technically, no, like here, so 19 minutes and 0 seconds. If you did not put that, you wouldn't be marked wrong. I will warn you that again, though, if you don't put the 0, when we start subtracting, you might get confused.
So like, is it okay to be like between 5 and like?
I will give you today, you can be 15 seconds off. So 15 seconds higher or 15 seconds lower for these ones. 5 seconds, perfect. 5 seconds is practically perfect. And for these, I would give you 200 today, but I'm warning you 200 is if all of yours are off by 200, then you're doing something wrong. Are we done with that?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions on those ones we did? Okay, so we are going to move on. So again, I want to warn you, I feel like this is the hardest thing that we're going to do all year. And it's not necessarily, each piece isn't hard. It's when we put it all together that it gets a little trickier. So we're going to learn and master each piece. And this is where you have to promise me that you'll speak up if you're confused. To start off with, let's talk about what's for homework. It says, bottom of page 21, and we're only doing the left chart, just this chart. So you have 5 questions for homework, and I think we'll have plenty of time to finish them in class.
Is that like the P or the S word?
We haven't learned yet. You do not know how to do this yet. I'm going to teach you right now, but I wanted to show you what's for homework right now so that I'm not rushing at the end. So it's just this chart. And again, you don't know how to do it yet. We're going to learn it now. So what we're going to be doing is determining the difference in arrival times for the P and S waves using the chart. So that chart that I'm speaking of is the one on page 11. You guys know how to use this graph like a normal graph. how to read it, go up and over or over and down, you know the basics. But what we're about to do is we're going to do something to a graph that you have never done to a graph before. So there's different ways of using graphs to get different information. And what we're doing today is determining the difference in arrival time for the P and S wave. So here's kind of an example of how this might work. So you're standing here in Argent or Yorkshire, or wherever the heck we technically are. And you know you are, let's say, 5,000 miles from the earthquake. So you know where the earthquake was. You feel the P wave. But your question is, well, how much longer until I feel the S wave? So the difference in the P and the S wave arrival times. Now take a look on page 11. Does it say anything about arrival time? No, it doesn't. We've got travel time, but that's different than arrival time. So we want to know how far apart between when the P wave gets here and when the next S wave is going to get here. And if you can't tell, there's a set of instructions for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fill in these 4 sets of instructions, and then we're going to go ahead and do them. So I want to put them down on paper first and then practice them, okay? So here are the 4 steps. I got to share my screen because I'm recording. So this is literally the only thing we're doing for notes today. We have 4 lines of notes.
Oh God, we're looking at the loss already.
This is the longest one there. So there we go. Step 1. Find the distance on the bottom of the chart. So we are writing this in the middle area on page 21. Step 1, super easy. Find the distance on the bottom.
Do you like switch your pen every time you go over something different?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I have to have this pen to write.
Okay, you just had a pink one.
Yep, can't write in pink. Felicia's allowed to write. I don't care. I personally don't care what color people write in.
I'm gonna write in yellow.
I, however, need to write with this exact blue pen.
Me first.
All right, ready for step 2? Did everyone write down step 1?
Yeah, but I already got
Okay, step 2. Place a scrap paper vertically, which if you know vertically means up and down, you don't have to write that part, but if you might forget, write it, for that distance.
Then what? Then what?
Yeah. That's the next one.
Do you use the same video for every class or do you?
I only record once a period, or once a day.
I think you
We
record that.
always use our.
I typically use your class because first period, I'm a little tired and cranky.
Main power participant.
Second, or you're the second group I teach, so I don't teach again until 5, 6. I have labs in between. So you're like my first one that I'm awake for, and I like to get it done and over with as soon as
I'm on the
possible.
way, 5, 6.
You are 5, 6.
Bro, what is wrong with you?
So you wake?
No.
I had 5, 6
I'm actually pretty
science
tired.
last year.
You guys good with this step 2?
Yeah.
All right, ready for step? Huh?
Okay.
You wrote it? Okay. Step 3, mark the scrap paper where the P and S waves touch it. So again, these probably sound really weird right now until we go ahead and do it, and then you'll be like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Oh, no.
Is there next slide on these?
You've done too many lives in a row. Like 7 in a row.
Aw. All right,
Oh,
step number 4. Oh, not quite done yet. All right. Next one is the long one.
Oh.
I know, and it makes no sense until we try it.
Oh.
All right.
I got you.
You ready?
Speed run.
Step 4, move the paper to the left side of the chart. Place the mark for the P wave on the 0 and read the time using the S mark. Please write that word for word, because you might need to go back and get it later next week to practice. You got that?
You said the hard stuff. was gonna be good.
Yeah, this is the hard stuff.
You also said the hard stuff. was gonna be-
No.
You said that like 5 days
Nope,
ago.
on Friday, I said we're gonna do the easy stuff before we start the hard stuff today.
Well, really, it was supposed to be, she said on Monday.
I did, I forgot we're doing the quiz.
Then she decided just to be absent.
No, I was interviewing the principal.
You had to do the interviews?
I was on the committee.
Yeah, the two of us.
Yeah, it does.
Carter's on the committee too, so am I.
No, you both were done.
I have a big
Okay.
role.
Okay.
I have a big role in the school. I run this.
Okay, keep writing, make sure you get it word for word.
I have a big role. Locked on the best if I've ever read.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
What do you think?
It's making the school even fun.
Tony, you ever seen me play?
Actually, right there, we have.
What?
Last week.
I didn't play last week.
Last year. You were benched.
No, I was hurt.
Wow.
Yeah, 'cause
that's
you
all
got
that
your
is,
little flag.
Zach was benched.
Zach was.
Guys, that's enough.
Some people were benched. Stop.
I was hurt.
Just because someone's
Sally.
benched doesn't mean that.
I'm not bad. I got benched for 2 games. Because I was being silly.
No, she said something silly.
Yeah, said something.
Oh, I don't believe that for a second. All right, everybody got this.
This was that game.
Oh,
Zach being silly, can't believe it.
that's what she did. Who knows? Who
What did she
knows?
do? It's a little
All right, here is how we use this. So everybody's going to need in front of them your page 11. You're going to need a scrap paper. Now, I handed out these little strips of scrap paper because honestly, because I'm sick of everybody digging through their stuff trying to find them. But there's nothing fancy about my scrap paper. You can use any scrap paper. It could be the edge of your math homework. I promise your math teacher won't even notice little marks on the side. It can be well, it can't be your reference table because you have it here, but I guess it could be your packet. So we're gonna go ahead and do the first question of your homework. So it says determine the difference in arrival time. That's what we just took notes on. For each of the following. So we're gonna do 8,000 together. So let's follow the steps. Step 1, find the distance on the bottom of the chart. That literally means point to the number we're talking about. So that's 8,000. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 says to take your scrap paper and line it, place the scrap paper vertically for that distance. This is truly all that means. Take your scrap paper and I can't fit it, well, I'll do it this way.
Come on, Miss Fritz.
So there's the 8,000 down at the bottom. I'm gonna take my scrap paper and line it up perfectly with that 8,000. Now,
Are you
here is a word of wording. So some of you have it lined up so your scrap paper is to the left of that 8,000. I'm gonna give you a hint. Move your scrap paper to the right of the
I want to
8,000.
have one.
Yeah, it's not ideal to do it on the left because then when we do the next step, you're gonna cover up the numbers and then you,
Carter, stop.
and I'll show you what I mean, but just take my word for it. Okay, we're good. Take my word for it and put your scrap paper to the right of the 8,000. So like I have it here. Now on the scrap paper, the next step, so step 3 was mark the scrap paper where the P and S waves touch it. So keeping it perfectly lined up and not moving it. Mark the P wave. I am gonna label it. Do not move your scrap paper. Mark the S wave. Now notice how my marks go nice and straight over. Don't do what I'll show you in the pink. Don't follow the curved line like that. Do nice straight lines over. I'm just gonna come over and check, see how everybody did with this part.
Kinda like a reference table. Kinda look like.
So I did give some of you those bigger scrap papers. It doesn't matter if you're using the, or bigger reference tables. It doesn't matter if you're using the bigger one or the smaller one, they all work out the exact same answer. So step 4, the one that was confusing, move the scrap paper to the left side of the chart. So that was the first part of it. But then it says place the P at the 0. So carefully line this up so that the P is down at the 0. And here's why it's important that you write on the right side of the on the scrap paper. Because if you hadn't, you're now going to cover up the time. So if you had written on this side of the scrap paper, you would have to peek under and risk messing up. So that's why I do recommend writing on the right, well, technically writing on the left side of the reference or script. So again, make sure that P is perfectly lined up with the 0. And then it says to read the time using the S mark. So my P is at 0. I don't think mine did not go to 9:30.
9:20.
Mine was just one line after the 9. Okay, so yours is a little bit higher, that's fine too. Either one of those answers, 9:20. Now, if yours really did go up to 9:30, first of all, did you line them up perfectly?
Yeah.
Did your marks go straight
No,
over?
so it was gonna be.
So is that what you-
9:20.
Okay.
Like I didn't have. Second, so.
Okay, so, oh, you couldn't see the line? Did you do it my way, or were you just covering them up?
No,
So-
I'm just covering them up.
So you can scoot it over a little, and that's kind of what I do, so I see what Carter's saying. I scoot it over so it's not like right up against the line, so I can see where those other marks are. So
Yeah.
I agree, I got 9 minutes and 20 seconds. So that is the first answer on your homework. So again, what does this mean? It means you are 8,000 kilometers away from the earthquake. And the difference is, so you feel the P wave, and then 9 minutes and 20 seconds, you feel the S wave after that. So that's what this means. Now, I am done teaching for today, but we are going over that quiz. So until I start going over stuff again, you can work on your homework. And then as soon as,
We do it, Carter.
no, because we're gonna go right into talking about the quiz, and the quiz was kind of a disaster. So again, don't forget to do your homework, which are these 5. We already did one of them, so technically only have 4 questions for homework. My guess is you could get a good head start on them right now.
You're talking about these ones that want on the page.
Yep, again, just
Gotta
these,
do all those 8.
no, just this.
Oh, just
So
that.
right here, this is your only homework.
We gotta make more marks.
Yep. So that's a good point. You're gonna end up with a lot of little marks on your scrap paper. You may want to either erase them or squiggle them out so you don't get this set of P and S marks messed up and confused with the new ones you're gonna make next time.